Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Aspiring Adult Podcast. My name is Alexandra Hayek, and I'm your host. Today with me is a new friend, Sophia. Sophia, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you. Hi, my name is Sofia. I'm 27 years old. I'm from Colombia, but I recently moved to Peru for work. And I've moved around different places to United States because my family is there, my mom, my brother, and I have other relatives there, and to Colombia too because there is my partner and other family friends. But now I'm in Peru. My focus is to settle into my new life here. So, yeah.
So, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and kind of like how you decided to um, go into the field that you're in? And yeah.
Yeah. So I am an industrial engineer, but it was not easy to decide when I have the opportunity to do it because, after finishing my high school, I initially was inclined towards social sciences like philosophy and languages. And I think that was because my context, my parents, my mother is a psychologist and my father is a lawyer, and they work like for social issues, like against social issues, environmental issues. So yeah, and I naturally had many concerns about my future, and they too. So we had many conversations, and they encouraged me to pursue a more stable career at that time,
Mhm.
and that will ensure like my financial security. So yeah, I decided to study an industrial engineer because I thought at that time that was more the humanistic career in the engineering path. So yeah, I enjoyed like my college. I think my classes were good, and not all of them, and there were more classes that resonate with myself. But yes, after graduation I explored many areas because industrial engineering is more open like other engineerings. So yeah, I explore, and yeah.
So, how did you decide to do industrial engineering as opposed to other engineering courses? I'm always
Because
curious, so many different um
yeah,
avenues you can take.
at the time I thought that they were more related with persons and process than others because others are more technical, like mechanical, civil, and other kind of engineering. So yeah, uh, and when I was started to work, I realized that that was kind of what I thought because I was working with process, I was working with people, I was working with many things. So yeah, that what is I thought that will be. So and I'm working with project control, like finances, like even things like are like commercial. So yeah, I think it's what I like
Yeah,
for like the career that I choose.
that's great. So I guess a follow-up question or something that's similar to that is how um so at age 27, what is something that has most surprised you about your 20s? And also, how did you imagine yourself at this age, and how is it different or similar to what you thought when you were like growing up as a kid?
Um, the first questions about the surprise, like yes, like about this stage of my life, yes. So for me, I think the more surprising thing is my level of comfort that I feel now compared to how I felt many years ago, because I was plagued by uncertainties and doubts because of my lack of direction when I choose the career because I wanted to do something else. before. But yeah, I think now I feel comfortable with the things that I'm doing right now, and now I feel like I'm happy with the things that I'm doing. And what was the other question?
The second question is, how did you imagine yourself when you were a kid, and how is that different to how you are now or similar? Like, yeah.
To be honest, I didn't think much about how I imagine myself at this age, I think. But if I did, I think I will have like project myself as the woman I'm today. I think like I'm comfortable with my work, independent, happy, and I imagine myself like surrounded by a close circle of supportive people like my family, friends. And now I think I'm doing very achieving things, and I've been accomplishments and overcoming obstacles. So yes, I think that is what I project myself when I was younger.
I think that's a great like take to hear because I know that for me, if I answered the question, it would be, or a lot of the times I ask this question and people are more focused on like more material things, if that makes sense, that they've accomplished. Like I did this and this and this, and not like how they felt. So I think that that's a really like refreshing and nicer take, a nicer answer than I could ever come up with.
And
So
I'm sorry to interrupt you. And I I I've been listening to all your episodes, and I listened the episode that was with Jade, and Jade said something that really resonated with me, that you don't have to be like stressed by all the deadlines that are around you. Like you have to become this, and you have to do this, and you have to have a family, and you have to have your own house. So no, you have just to be yourself, to be good with yourself, to be content with your life, with your work. Yes, I think that is just good.
yeah, I think that's part of the reason why I'm doing this is to show that everybody goes at their own pace. Um, and you don't have to be comparing yourself to others. So I definitely agree with that. So my next question for you is, I know I'm personally inspired by a lot of things and people, so I wanted to ask you if you have any role models or things that inspire you in your everyday life that you could share with us.
I find it difficult to answer this question without thinking in my own family, because they've been like a significant source of inspiration for me. I have such a large family, including my mother's 9 sisters, 3 brothers, my father's 2 sisters, 6 brothers. So there is many people, and there is a rich like tapestry of stories and experiences that have shaped me. and and if I have to choose someone in particular, will be my grandma, who passed away 1 year ago, but actually she shaped the way that I am right now. But now I think I've been choosing very carefully all the people who surround me, like my closest circle, like my friends, my partner too, and they particularly have some positive influence in me. So I think I've been inspired by many people around me. Even in my job, I have very good people around me. So yes, I've been inspiring me every day by many people.
I like what you said about being particular about who you choose to be in a lot of experiences that you have in your life and can turn a bad situation in a good situation if you're surrounded with people that support you and lift you up as opposed to people who are like on some level trying to compete with you or are like negative Nancy and are just like always trying to point out what's wrong. So I definitely agree to your point that it's a lot of the times it's about who's around you um that will shape most of what you do. Okay, so as you've learned from listening to my episode, I love, 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 love media, pop culture, all of that. So I like to ask this question because it's very important to me in my life. So I want to know, is there a piece of media or pop culture that has influenced you or like impacted you personally in your life?
Okay. Yes. So throughout my life, and because I'm Colombian, so I've been deeply influenced by different kind of culture figures. I particularly like strong and prominent women. I kind of like I choose when the people who surround me in my close circle. I choose what I would like to aspire to um, as the cultural figures that I follow in.
Mhm.
So from when I was a kid, I remember that I enjoyed very much like sing and dancing with my cousins, with Shakira, like during her early ages, like they're like between 2004 2006, and I admire her confidence and unique style. But during my teenage years, I fell in love with the figure of Frida Kahlo too, as a strong, independent, authentic woman in her art and life. I I always have like paints, her diary, her movies. So yes, I like it very much, and always been fascinated by individuals who live authentically and leave an impact on the world. But now I think I don't have a specific figure I aspire to, but I continue to be influenced by culture, I think, especially in music and in literature and film. And I consciously seek out like female figures who inspired me with their authenticity. So yeah, I don't know if you have listened maybe music in Spanish.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah. So
actually went to Carol G's concert. She came to Houston
okay,
with my mom actually in August, and it was so fun. I loved it. It was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. Um
really?
yeah. Yes, and it was packed. I thought it wasn't packed, but I guess it's because Latinos were always late. But so like it wasn't really full, and I was like my mom was like, "Oh, I feel so bad. O sea, no se va a llenar." And so like I was like, no, like I feel like there will be more people. Like there's a lot Latinos here in Houston, and then it was packed, just as packed as it was when I went to go see Taylor Swift. Like there was not a single seat that was like empty, and it was crazy. It was really fun, but yeah, I got sidetracked. Yeah.
Okay, very good. And she has very is very powerful. I think she's very like strong and has a very good message about the confidence that they her well she is working with confidence. So yes, that I think is a very good thing to see when you are in a concert, for example.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so my next question for you is a little bit very different. Right? So what are you struggling with right now in your day-to-day, either personally or professionally? What's something that at the moment you're struggling with? I ask this because, like I said, like it's the point of the podcast is to, you know, find things
Uh,
with each other and figure out that we're really like not alone. So I like to ask this question. Um,
well, it depends on the day, I think, because been, well, very occupied in my job. And first, something that I'm struggling with is that maybe I'm spending too many hours working and leaves me with a little bit of energies for other aspects of my life. But now that I've recently moved to Peru, I've been experiencing feelings of loneliness too that has been tough to deal with. But and at the end, on other days, occasionally I have intrusive thoughts and feelings like imposter syndrome. So yeah, I have many, I think, struggles, and it depends of the day. But yeah, I'm actually working on them, and I think it's an ongoing process, and that these struggles don't define me or dictate my actions. So I think the most important thing that is that I'm working on them and working on my confidence. That always helps.
100%. And I think that going through like such a big change, like moving to a new country, can heighten a lot of like negative emotions, or like, loneliness is definitely understandable. And yeah, I mean, like you said, what's most important is to be able to like point them out and work on them, and then also like just know that it's not it's not forever, it's temporary. Um, so the flip side to that question is, what are you looking forward to in your life? It can be like short term or long term. Like, what's something that you're looking forward to in this year, let's say, for example?
Now at this stage of my life, I think I am looking forward to attain a complete financial stability. I think I would like to be able to invest to establish those solid financial like foundations. But at the same time that I'm here in Peru, I would like to know if I'm going to stay here or if I'm going to move somewhere else. So, yeah, that also is what I'm thinking most of the time. But yeah, I think whatever will be my decision, I will have a fine stability, and wherever I'm living, I'm being able to enjoy uh, where what can I do in here. For example, like traveling, eating, walking, knowing other people. So yes, I think that is something that I'm looking forward to, like to be stable at that time.
That sounds good. Okay, so my last question for you is, um, what is something that you want to rant about? So something that you are interested in, or that you want to talk about, or that's been on your mind, any topic. This is like my free for all question. Um, yeah, anything that you want to talk about.
Well, lately and in the last few days, I've been really thinking about on the questions that you sent me for this podcast. So I've come to realize that finally I am on the path that I always wanted to be on, but I always think about is I feel content, happy, fulfilled, but it's a contrast to how I felt 5 or 8 years ago. So back then, I longed for a tool like the one you are creating, because this podcast is like a tool. You can share the experience with other people who are maybe some struggles with, who are right now because they are young, they are looking for their own path. So yes, I think this conversation is crucial, and I not just for me, because I was thinking about it um many days, but like for people like my brother who is currently navigating through uncertainties, doubts, and figuring out what are his passions and identity. So yeah, that it was I was thinking.
Yeah. I think that again, like you said, that's kind of the reason why I made this podcast. I can expand a little bit, but well, the first reason is that my friend told me that I posted way too much on my private story and was talking a lot and had a lot of things to say, and she said just make it into a podcast. And I was like, it's not a bad idea. And like I definitely I struggle a lot with like feeling uncertain about what I'm doing and again like feeling like I'm behind. So I think that that's why I made this podcast. And again, I'm glad you enjoy it. um but yeah, I think it's something that as we grow older, what do I want to say? A lot of the times like you will look back and have a lot more clarity on like your past. And by making this podcast, I'm trying to like not make that clarity come faster, but just make it so that other people understand or like feel less alone, honestly. If to make it more corny and shorter. But um yeah, I'm
Yeah, like I think this podcast can provide some comfort for people who are really trying to figure it out, and to allow them to don't be alone with all their struggles, I think.
yeah.
And yeah, I think that it's very important, and congratulations you.
Thank you. I definitely think what's important, like you said, it's, at the end of the day, it's about creating community, if you will. I
Mhm.
think that's something that's also like lacking in today's world in some sense. We have a lot of communities, but sometimes they can get so um micro, not micromanaged, but they become so specific. It's like you have to be a part of so many communities to find your bowl, if you will. I also think that in building community, like again, building community is important, but also telling people's stories, which is why I also wanted this to be like an interview format and tell like not we have a lot of there's a lot of podcasts out there interviewing like random celebrities and like people who are millionaires and it's like how I got here and uh how I have this amazing life and you could do it too. And it's like, yeah, but there's like amazing people in my life that aren't like billionaires and like celebrities and like I want to share their stories too and like yeah, build a community and make people feel less alone. I keep repeating myself, but yeah.
And
So
with normal people like you, me, your mother, all your family, your friends. Yes, I think we have many stories, experiences to share, and to allow people like to can, I don't know if compare themselves, but to don't feel alone.
okay, well, Sophia, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and doing this with me. I really, really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you want to add?
No, just thank you for having me here. So I was very excited, and no, just thank you.
Of course. Okay, so thank you all for listening and watching this on YouTube if you do. Please follow on Aspiring Adult Podcast on Instagram and on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and YouTube. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.